Hello, hello, hello. Hi, happy Friday, everyone. And good evening, depending on which time zone you are in. I am super, super excited to have you all here with me today. First off, I just want to thank you so much for joining in. This is going to be a great, pretty quick workshop. I just want to cover the basics for the pregnant and mamas. So, tonight we are going to focus on advocacy and just how to advocate for yourself and standing up for yourself in the birth space. And that can look like anything from whether you're giving birth with a midwife, an NP, an OB, if you're going to give birth at a hospital or a birthing center or at home. Just whatever that looks like for you. I mean, you're going to need some sort of support and just to learn how to have a voice for yourself and speak up for yourself during delivery. So, I want to introduce myself for those of you who are on tonight. And if you have not met me, I am Sade. I am a birth and postpartum doula. I'm a childbirth educator, a breastfeeding counselor, and a certified anger management specialist. So I help moms. As I love to help first time moms specifically, but I work with all moms in general. But my passion is really working with first time mamas and catering to those moms who are doing all of this for the first time, and as they transition into motherhood, because it can be crazy. A lot of things are going to come up that you're not going to expect. So I just really love to help first time parents just feel confident and prepared to take on parenthood and just embrace all of the challenges, all of the wonderful moments that it comes with. So that's me in the middle. Um, and then to your left or right, you'll see me, my husband Davey, and our Kyler. He is almost 2 years old now. So he is a character, but just a little bit about my birth story. And then that's also him in the hospital the day after he was born. So just real quick, I'll share like a quick synopsis of my birth story. So I gave birth in the hospital in 2022. COVID was sort of this in February. It was sort of dying down, but still pretty much a thing. Um, so I wasn't able to have anyone in the hospital with me other than my husband at the time. So no visitors, no doula or midwife or anything like that. I was only allowed one other person, and then I couldn't have visitors after the fact. I was only limited to two, and they would have to be like the same two people. So my husband was actually my my doula. I was not certified as a doula at the time that I gave birth, but I've been in the birth work industry, helping moms with their babies for like since 2017 now. So I've been doing this for quite a while. And then after I had my son, sorry, you're gonna hear him in the background. So after I gave birth to him, I decided like, wow, that was quite the experience. I think a lot more moms need to be aware and be prepared for what could possibly be their reality and be their birth experience. So I decided to get certified in breastfeeding because I wanted to breastfeed. It was important to me personally. Um, and to be honest, oh, and then there was like that milk formula shortage at the time that I had, like literally right when I had him. So it was just a mess, right? So thank goodness I was able to successfully breastfeed. Still doing so, 21 months in, yay. But then after that, I was like, you know what? Like, obviously, like helping moms breastfeed is not enough. I was like, moms need, like a doula and just extra support and childbirth education, because there's so much that goes into birth, postpartum, pregnancy, that like a lot of people don't tell you. So it's like I made it my mission to like start reaching out to more mothers, especially first time mothers, and be like, hey, like let me help you get prepared. Let me give you, some information. And I'm obviously, like, my goal is not to scare mothers. I just want to make you aware and informed of what could be a possibility for you. So that is how I became a doula. And just because for time's sake, I don't want to spend too much time, but that is me in a nutshell. So our agenda for tonight, we're going to go over what is advocacy. I'm going to talk about why you should even care about why you should be a good advocate for yourself, how you can advocate for yourself, like what that looks like. And then we'll go into some birth education benefits that I have to offer for you. So first, the why. Like too many mothers are having unnecessary C-sections, are having unnecessary inductions, or their providers are using forceps and vacuums and just all sorts of other things to help labor progress when it's not necessary. And I'm not against the C-section at all, because in a lot of cases it is very necessary. It is the operation that saves mother and baby in situations. So I'm 100% not against it at all. I'm just against it when it's not medically necessary. And then again, some mothers do prefer to opt in for a C-section because of the fear of giving childbirth, and that's completely fine. How it's up to you how you should want to experience it. If you are one of those people, you're completely scared of the pain, you don't like the idea of, pushing and giving birth vaginally, and you want to elect for a C-section, whatever's gonna make you comfortable. I hate it when moms are kind of forced into like a birthing situation that they're not comfortable with. So if you're not comfortable with something, and this is why we're talking about advocacy, like speak up for yourself and say, like, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. So too many moms and babies are suffering because providers are just not listening. And a lot of this comes to play where education and awareness is super, super important. Like, I cannot stress that enough, because bottom line is like, you don't know what you don't know, and providers who are unethical feed on that. And so you're going to hear me say providers a lot, because you could be working with a family practitioner depending on what area you're in. You could be working with a obstetrician, or you could be working with a midwife. And unfortunately, there's some unethical midwives out there too. So that try to push their beliefs on moms because they've been in the birth game for so long. They think that they know what's best for you, when every case should be handled like an individual. Every mother, every birth should be handled differently, with an open mind, with a clear slate, because it's all different. So what you do for one mom, I don't believe you should just go and do for every mom. It just varies from person to person, baby to baby, mother to mother. So when I say providers, I just mean whoever you are choosing to help you assist with your delivery. But providers are taking advantage of women because a lot of moms just are not aware of certain practices and procedures, and a lot of people think because oh, you're the doctor or you're the expert, so you should know better. But sometimes, just to be honest with you, yes, we could be the expert in an area, but that does not mean we know what's best for you. That doesn't mean we know it all. Part of being a professional is we're always evolving. We are always learning. We don't always have all the answers. Literally something new can come up every single day. So Mom, stand up for yourself and don't have the idea that, okay, well, this person, they are my doctor or they are my midwife. So they should know if they say I need to do this or this needs to be done like this, then I need to do what they say. If it doesn't feel right to you, then it might not, it could not be right. So do what feels right for you. Don't feel forced into something or don't feel like you are pressured to have to do something because that's what you're being told by the quote unquote expert. So my mission, as a doula, as a childbirth educator, is to bring more awareness because in the US especially, the maternal and infant mortality rates are high. They are high. And like they're even worse in certain states, particularly some southern states. Like I'm based in Texas, and so I know for Texas alone, and like Louisiana's next door to us, like the rates are super crazy high. Like for like C-sections that are just unnecessary. And for mothers and babies whose, experience is ending in a fatal, tragic incident because doctors and midwives are just neglecting to listen to a mom when she's saying like, hey, like something is wrong or like this is not right, or they're just doing whatever the hell they want to do. So it's a problem. It's a huge problem. And, we need to do something about it. So my goal is to bring you information so that you're able to make confident, informed decisions while you're, in the process of delivery. Because these providers think that like, oh, well, they don't know any better. So I'm just going to do this. Like, no. We're not going to do that. So, how do we get there? How do we make a change? And as I said earlier, by educating yourself, like feeling good enough about the information that you do have, to speak up for yourself and demand quality care because you deserve quality care. You deserve to be listened to. You should be listened to. You shouldn't have to feel like you're in a battle or in a war with your provider during a time like this. The relationship should feel good for both parties involved. Like you should not be stressed out because you're having intense pain, but your provider's like, oh, it's fine, just relax or turn over, go to sleep, like that's normal, you're pregnant. Like, no, this feels a little off. This feels a little too intense. I'm not comfortable with what is going on in my body. And that's where it's really good to also have like a doula or a birth partner with you because they can help you, kind of navigate and troubleshoot different things that you're experiencing during delivery. So what does advocacy even mean, right? Like it's to push for, to argue in favor of an issue, to support something, that you stand on and that you believe in. And it's just, it's being heard. So why is it so important? Because as I said earlier, like moms are just we're not being listened to. We're not. Other people are telling us what we should be doing with our bodies. And I know it's such a common thing, especially with pregnancy. Like everyone's always telling you, you shouldn't eat that. Oh, you can't drink that. Oh, you're pregnant. Like you shouldn't do that. And it's like, okay. I'm my own person. I think, like if it doesn't feel good for me, then I'll stop. Or if I start to feel sick, like obviously I won't eat that again, right? So it's just, we're not being taken serious enough as women, and it needs to change. So what's the first strategy? The first strategy that you can practice when it comes to advocacy is ask for an explanation. Ask questions. Do not stop asking questions until you understand. When it comes to the safety of yourself and your baby, There's no stupid question. There's no annoying questions. Like there's no amount of questions you can ask that should not be it. Like it shouldn't be like, oh, you've asked your 21 questions. Let me just stop you right there. No, 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 no. Ask what you need to as many times as you need to until you fully grasp and understand what the risks are, what the benefits are, and how will this affect you. So if a nurse comes in, if a provider comes in and they say, hey, like, you've been in labor for 4 hours now, like we're gonna go ahead and start you on Pitocin, or we're gonna insert, and it's like, like, hold on. Like, first of all, that's an induction. Second of all, it's like, did you ask me first if that's what I wanted? Like, is there anything else we can do? Or what will happen if we just hold off and we just wait and see what happens? So many providers are afraid of just waiting and letting a woman's body do its thing. Like, we were made to do this. We were built to do this. It looks different for all of us, yes, but this is what we do. So it's going to take time, especially if you are giving birth for the first time. This is foreign territory for your body. It is going to take time for your body to progress and for labor to progress, and that is totally fine. There's no worry when it's like, oh, shoot, it's been 12 hours. Like, everybody start to panic. The baby's not here yet. No, it's okay. Just keep doing what you need to do to keep yourself comfortable and as relaxed as possible, and let your body just do its thing. It knows what to do. It's going to get there. Your baby is going to come when your baby is ready to come. So always ask for an explanation. If they come in and they say, well, we want to try this, or we want to strip your membranes, or we want to do a sweep, or, ask them like, okay, so what does that look like? What are my options for that? What if I say no? What if we just wait? Like, then what's the damage there? So just ask those types of questions. Make them explain it to you. If you don't understand, make them explain it again. If they can't explain it, have somebody else come in and explain it. Like, they need to make sure that you're clear and that you're aware of exactly what is going to take place. So the next strategy I have for advocacy looks like being informed of your provider's policies and their procedures before your birthday. This is a big one. I really like to highlight this one with all my clients, because a lot of moms, like especially moms who are interested in creating a birth plan, really want to, they envision their birth to go a certain way, which, as we all know, we don't have control over things. Things do happen, but you do deserve to have at least a positive experience, right? Even if it doesn't go the way that you want it to go. But I have a lot of moms, they're writing their birth plan, they're super excited, which is awesome. But then they're like, oh, well, I want to do a water birth, and come to find out they're 37 weeks along, and their doctor's like, oh, well, we don't have accommodations, for a water birth. And then it's super disappointing, and you're already at 37 weeks, and it's like, baby can be here at any moment. And now you've just found out you're not going to be able to have the birth that you thought you were going to have. And it's super disappointing and upsetting. So that's why I really emphasize to my clients, and just any mom that I come across, is like, have conversations. If you're creating a birth plan, please do not wait to the last minute. Start thinking these things out, as soon as you can. And even if it doesn't have to be anything formal, just taking notes on what you're interested in having done and what you're not interested in having done. It could really be as simple as that. But I say, have these conversations early with your provider so that they are aware of where your head is at, and then that way you know what they can accommodate and what they cannot accommodate. Because you will be surprised how many providers, are like, oh, no, 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 like we don't do that. And then if you do it early on, you'll know. So that way, if you want to switch providers or maybe start thinking of some alternatives, you have plenty of time to do so before it's too late. So, strategy 3 is know your rights. You are completely entitled to say yes or no, and you can say no. I cannot tell you, ladies, how many like moms I've come across, and they've had their doctor or nurse come in the room and say, hey, like we're gonna go ahead and sweep your membranes, or they just do it and don't even tell the mom what they're doing. Absolutely not. That is not consent. Your provider needs your consent before they do anything that is going to affect the progression of your labor. Anything to your body, whether it's a what are those things, cervical checks, what have you. They need to be asking you first, not telling you what they're going to do. Because you might decide, like for me, oh my gosh, cervical checks are the worst thing to me. I did not like them during pregnancy. It was very uncomfortable. My OB was not gentle when it came to cervical checks. They were extremely painful for me. And then I say that, but because like I said, she didn't know what she was, or I don't know, she might not have cared, but anywho, that's a story for another day. But those cervical checks did not go smooth. Like it was so uncomfortable to the point like my husband had to like stand up and be like, oh, hey, like go easy, because he saw like the pain in my face and the way my body tensed up when I was getting a cervical check from my OB. However, I did have a nurse on the actual day of my delivery when I was being induced who did a cervical check for me. And I was like, and see, at the time I didn't really know any better. So when she said like, oh, I'm going to do a cervical check to see where you're at, I tried to decline. And I was like, no, like, I think I'm good, like, without having one. But she was like very pushy. And see, had I felt confident enough to be like, lady, do not, put your fingers where I don't want them. Had I been like more confident and assured like of myself to know that I had the right to decline that, I absolutely would have. But I, gave in and I allowed her to do one anyways. And then, I'm like it wasn't painful. It was nothing at all. Like I experienced it before. So it wasn't bad with that particular nurse. Thank goodness. But yeah, so that was that. So it's like, however, with this next pregnancy going forward, oh honey, like I will not be getting any cervical checks at all. No. So, but now I know better. Now I know like I can absolutely say no. Like, and there's nothing that they can say or do that's going to be like, oh, okay. Nah, I know better now. So if you don't want like, and that's the same with like the glucose test or just anything that you are not wanting to give consent to, you do not have to. You don't have to do what they tell you to do or what they want to do. So the next strategy is a birth partner. A birth partner can be so helpful in so many ways. Whether you choose to have your husband, your mom, your sister-in-law, a cousin, a doula, a midwife, whomever, I really, really recommend designating a special person that you trust, that you're comfortable around, that doesn't like get your blood boiling, because the hormones can hype us up. So get somebody that's not going to drive you insane, and it doesn't have to be the mother-in-law that you don't get along with. Like you want to be surrounded by people who are there for you and who are going to respect what you want and your wishes. So when you do find a birth partner, let me also emphasize, find somebody who is not going to make your blood boil. So it's good to have a birth partner because, like, for me, there was a time I elected for the epidural like 9 hours after I had a 19-hour labor total. After 9 hours, I was like, oh, I need to go to sleep. If I don't go to sleep, I'm not going to be able to push. I'm just not going to have the energy, and I don't want it to result in a C-section because I'm exhausted. So I went ahead, I got an epidural so that I can take a nap, and it worked beautifully for me. But I know in some situations it's like I was nauseous during certain interventions during my induction. There was times where I was in so much pain from the contractions because I went 9 hours with no pain medication or anything. And I was being induced. So the pain is like more intense than it would be if I was having natural labor contractions. So my husband, like he was there doing all the things. He knew what to do. He read all the books. He watched all the videos. And so he was really confident about like stepping in and speaking and being like, hey, like she doesn't really want this, because he could tell in some instances, like I was vulnerable. You're vulnerable. Like there's times where they were asking me things and I'm like, I don't know, like I couldn't just be like flat out no when I knew that that's what I wanted. So my husband would be like, yeah, we don't want to do this right now. We want to wait on this, or we just want to try to go as long as possible, without doing this. So it was really, really helpful to have him there to like help put his foot down for me when like I was kind of feeling pressure to give into something. So definitely you want to find a birth partner. So here's some other things that you can do to help advocate for yourself. So, read birth books that align with your vision for your birth. Hire a doula if it's within your budget to help support you, or designate someone to be your support person. Build a relationship with your provider and their staff. Take the hospital tour, talk to the nurses there, ask questions with your provider, and just really try to figure out like what their protocols are on certain things, so that way you have a good idea of if they're going to be able to accommodate your wishes for your birth. Again, ask those questions. Do not be afraid to ask questions. And no matter how much annoyed they seem, oh well, you keep asking those questions. And then take a childbirth course if you can. Please, these are so helpful. I mean, whether you do some in person, some hospitals offer free birth courses in the area. My only thing about those are they're very specific to, so if you do take it at the hospital that you're going to, because they're very specific about their policies and procedures and how they do things. So if you do want to learn more about how your hospital operates, it is good to take one with them. Most of them offer them for free. Some are paid, but they're low cost. So, but the information, I will say, is very basic. They don't really cover the information of like how to manage pain without medication. It's really more so like just kind of going over the general process. But if it's free, then it's definitely, of course, worth checking out. But if they're not free, I do a little more research before opting for that option when it comes to a childbirth course. So it's time. So I have a special offer as a special thank you for all of you joining in tonight. So I will be opening my childbirth education course. It's going to be online in a few days. So my course gives you all the things. We have evidence-based information about the different stages of labor, birthing positions, how to stay calm, cool, and collective during labor, different like labor and birth positions. So like the class gives like a demonstration on some like exercises and different movements you can do either by yourself or with the support of a partner. It really gives you an idea of like what to expect, and it gives some awesome pain management techniques and just overall how to navigate like the whole delivery process, how to navigate like the labor process, and all that. Like, it's packed with a ton of good information. And so that course is only $99, and it's a big old online library, and you can just go through the modules at your own pace, and just read and learn about what to expect. So another offer I have is, so you'll get the course, and then you'll also get 2 coaching sessions with me, a doula. And so these birth coaching sessions are really like for me to work with you and your support person if you so choose, or the whole family, girl. Because look, I really believe it, because your doula or your doctor is only there with you for like a short amount of time, and then after that, it's just you, your partner, your family, or whoever that's going home with you. Like, we can't go home with you unless you hire us as a postpartum doula, but then that's only for a certain amount of time, right? So it's like, I like to help you feel prepared, so when you take your baby home that first night, you're like, oh snap, like, okay, it's just me and you, baby. Like, what do we do? Where do we go from here? So you'll feel good about going home that first night. You won't be pulling out your hair like, oh, okay, I've got this super cute little baby now. Like, what am I doing? What do we do with it? So the course definitely helps prepare you for that, and my coaching sessions will help prepare you for that. And then for the moms who want to take an extra mile and get extra support on a budget, I know a lot of women want a doula, but it can be costly depending on what area you're in, if you're looking for a local doula. So I do offer virtual doula support to every client. And so that support only comes at $769, which is a steal, because most doula support starts at a minimum of $1,200, to say the least. So, but I want to make sure, like, my goal is, like, my purpose is to make sure families are being supported. And so I do offer virtual options where we can FaceTime, we can phone, I can text you, or whatever your preferred method of communication is. And you'll have access to me for a certain amount of hours during your labor. And so, and your delivery as well. And so you'll also get the access to the childbirth education library and all the resources, and you'll get doula support on the go. So this is a perfect option for moms who feel like pretty good about the birth process, but they just want that extra like support of like, okay, or if labor is taking a long time, it's really good to have someone there to just help cheer you along, give you some pointers of what you can do to just stay comfortable while you're waiting it out until baby arrives. So that is the bonus offer, and it is a great deal that you do not want to pass up. However, my cart will only be open for 3 to 5 days. So the course starts on Black Friday, and if you are interested, just leave a message in the chat and leave a message in the chat saying course information. And then whoever is interested in learning more about the course, or if you want to set up a personal call with me and ask whatever questions you want to ask about it more, I'm totally available to do that. So I'll send you, those of you who are interested, an individual email after this, and then that way we can get in contact and discuss your needs for support more. So I would love for us to stay in touch. I am on Instagram at the Breastfeeding Doula, as well as TikTok. My website is breastfeedingdoula.com. And if you have any questions or ever, need references or anything like that, or have questions, I said that again, you can just shoot me an email. I respond to moms and just people, because I'm like, sometimes we need somebody to talk to, right? So I'm here for you. And then, yeah, you can shoot me a DM too as well, like on Instagram or whatever. It doesn't have to be formal, like an email. So please follow me, keep in contact with me. I'm also on the Peanut Mom app pretty regularly. So yes, thank you all so much for taking time out and being a part of this with me. And I really hope that you got some good takeaways from tonight, and that you are gonna look into, okay, like, ooh, I'm on fire. Like, let me go get this birth book I've been looking at, or let me go ahead and enroll in this birth course so I can, like really feel good about, this whole birth experience. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And yes, have a good night, ladies. Bye. And look for an email from me within the next 24 to 48 hours. Good night.